again and again.
Of writing something, but then I thought that in writing whatever I wrote wouldn't be as honest as if I said it from the bottom of my heart. A while ago, Nosana asked me the question, why is it that when a woman has sex with a lot of people and is promiscuous, she's branded, she's seen as trash, she's not appreciated in fact, right? But when a man does it, he's valued, he's held in high esteem and all that stuff. And I think you ladies tonight are interested in what the reason is. Well, to be honest, whether the guys admit it or not, right, is that men view the female body as a temple. The reason being is that in all religions, regardless of whatever religion you go to, there's that basic element of creation, appreciation, aspiration, and realization. Now, in the physical sense, it's in when you make a baby, right? When you make a baby, intentionally, in this regard, is that you're expecting something very beautiful. You're expecting a part of yourself and a part of the person that you're with to be created in one aspect and to grow and to, well, basically thrive in the world and contribute something greater. Now, the reason, like I said before, is that when you go to a temple and you desecrate that temple, what happens is that it's not appreciated. And this is why, as men, regardless of how unfair it is, we don't appreciate women being promiscuous because we view them as temples. Forget the ego, forget the male regard and all that stuff. That's the reason why. As for the celebration aspect of why we're celebrating women being promiscuous as men, is that I have no clue. Honestly though. This brings me to a point that I was thinking about a few hours ago. And a thought came to my mind that what were the feelings and the thoughts of my parents when they made my brother and when they made me as well. Now, I have an elder brother who's about 4 years older than me. It's like 4 years is a long time. So, in that regard, both encounters should have meant something to these two people. Now, when they were making my brother, I hope that my dad and my mom were both happy, that they were both feeling fulfilled and complete and satisfied in the relationship that they were in with each other. Unfortunately enough, is that 3 years after I was born, my mother left my father because my father was a cheat. You get what I'm saying? In this regard, it makes me think, what kind of a man was my father? What, in terms of his passion that he had when he was having sex with my mother, was he a person who was truly there, or was he a villain? And essentially, I think that it's about time that us as men, and I'm speaking on behalf of the men because I don't believe, honestly, I'm not a very religious person, but I don't believe in the whole Adam and Eve theory about how women are the cause of all the stress in life and all that stuff. I'm not saying that because, well, there's like this. Like how in the nursery. So yeah. But honestly, I don't believe in that. I believe in a lot of aspects that each and every one of us goes through some hurt. But initially, you're hurt. Women were initially hurt by men. Whether it's proven by history or fact, I don't know. But I know that before I was hurt by a little lady, I hurt somebody else before. And it's cyclical. And I think when it translates sexually, that after you come from something like that, you view sex as something of either a transaction or revenge. That's why you get into one-night stands. That's why you get into relationships only to break relationships. Right? And sadly enough, when you do something like that, it is something that is very sad. Because, in all honesty, when you are having sex with somebody else, regardless of whether you know the person or not, that is when you're at your most vulnerable. That is when you allow somebody to view who you truly are in that essence, because you're sharing an aspect of yourself which is not available publicly. It is something that is extremely private. Okay? And at the same time, more than anything else, you allow the other person to view your imperfections. Now, allowing people to view your imperfections is very risky. You know? And that's why I think that we are in the situation that we are in today. Nosana's will have to forgive me about this, because I want to bring the whole, I'm not going to talk about it, but I just want to bring the whole AIDS aspect into light, promiscuity, infidelity, all that stuff, is that we constantly, as male and female, expose each other, and unnecessarily so, through sex. It is a tool, and it's a tool of war. Unfortunately enough, what we don't realize as the human race is that because we have a higher conscience than the rest of the animal species, is that we are not here only to perpetuate the species. Now, I want to be honest that I don't believe in God. Well, I don't essentially believe in God. I'm a spiritual person because in every circumstance, there has to be some sort of hope. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying right now is that because we have a higher conscience, that there is meaning to every single thing that we do. Now, more often than not, is that us as people, we often use sex as a weapon. Use it as a weapon of seduction, as a weapon to get more power, as a weapon of destruction or destroying relationships and people. And more often than not, we don't appreciate what we have, and we don't appreciate what kind of tool it is. Because essentially, when you meet somebody, you don't meet somebody in terms of you want to have sex with them either. Bluntly, this is my opinion of what sex should be. Is that sex should not be used as something that as a hobby. Sex is something that you share with somebody, because essentially I think that you need to find holism with another person, because you will never truly know yourself unless somebody else knows you, and that's how you can define yourself as a person. You get what I'm saying? So I think that you as young females and elder females as well, from my future grandchildren to my great-great-great-great-grandmother, should not allow yourselves to be dominated by men. It has been all through history, it has been the case that men use sex as power, because men use sex violently. We use it in order to show that we are not equal, right? And whether it was colonialism, whether it's monogamy, whether it's polygamy, whatever system of sexuality that we apply in society, in each regard there is an element of masculine power. And as a higher conscience, as a grace of higher conscience, I think that we ought to be elevated to that level where we can appreciate the next person. And that we essentially, when you get into a relationship, because in most cases, all relationships in these days are short-term relationships. I go to a club with my friends, I get drunk, I meet a beautiful, hot woman, I have sex with them, I don't call her the next day. If she was good in bed, if hell, she even tossed my salad. I'm not going to do it. So I think, honestly enough, we as people are intelligent enough to know that I love myself in this form, is that I'm not who I am, because my spirit is who I am. And the key in finding out who you really are is finding out what your spirit is about, right? Whether you apply the theory of reincarnation or not. But I think that's the best way to find out who you really are, that you don't find yourself in what you do or what you've been through or what you're going to go through, what you plan for your life. You find yourself in the person that you choose. And that is the key, that you choosing the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. And I think that's the essentiality of marriage. That's the essentiality of committing yourself to somebody. Now, as young people find, we'll commit ourselves to people early on, thinking that we know about ourselves. I'm not saying that's wrong. That is an element to finding out which direction you're going to take, right? And in most cases, you don't choose direction. There's a saying that says, while you're making plans, life is what happens. And honestly, that's what occurs. But it's not about you being oblivious to the fact that life happens. It's about you realizing that life happens, and that what your role you're going to play in it, and how you're going to take an active role and say, look, these are the decisions I'm going to make, right? Now, in relation to sex, God, I love sex. Okay? Let's not forget that. Sometimes I want to be married, but let's not forget that as well. That it is a beautiful thing, and I think we should start making it violent and abusive, because that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing with these meaningless one-night stands. That's what we're doing. It's like changing girlfriends in and out. I'm bored by a person, so I don't want to have sex with her, so I'm going to dump her. All these dumbass reasons. And it's unnecessary. Because you as a person, you know what you want from life, and you know what you want in a person, the person that you're going to be with. And when you have a sexual encounter with that person, it's about growing sexually. Now, A guy and a woman might have sex and the guy might say, she has no idea what she's doing. And the chick might say the same thing, he has a small dick. But, honestly enough, we need to understand that when you have sex, the answer to those two problems is the Kama Sutra. Those things are there for a reason. I'm not religious, like I said before, but I'm spiritual. And I think there's a lot to learn in life from scriptures, from religion, about how you need to engage the relationship that you choose to be in. And essentially with regard to sex, is that the Kama Sutra plays an essential role in terms of, if it's not satisfying in the beginning, you grow in it. You become in it. You realize yourself. You know what I'm saying? You raise to a higher plane, a higher being. Because just doing this thing for the sake of just doing it, it's sad. It's like wasting sperm. I was watching Legally Blonde last night, funny enough or not, And Reese Witherspoon raised an argument, is that because the case was, it was a case study in the lecture room about how a man had the right to custody of a child because he donated sperm. And she was like, no, unfortunately, he cannot have a right. I'm breaking this down simply because the script is just relating. Is that he said that if he had the right to the child, then every single occasion that he masturbated, every single occasion that he had sex with another woman, he should be responsible for those. And in those occasions that he had masturbation, that was justification for neglect, or some legal term. Shaw will hear that out a little bit later. But then, that's my point exactly, that every sexual encounter should not be meaningless, because it's not about filling a void where you want to revenge for something else, or where you want to satisfy some goal. And, as society, we often define our sexuality in terms of the society. I want to be the man. So you know what? I'm going to shag you, I'm going to shag you. And that is a sad case, because after that shag, in my case, after those 4 hours, after those 4 hours, I sit, I watch TV, and what's become of it? Absolutely zilch. Nothing's become of it. It's another masturbatory process. So I think we need to realize that sex is not a hobby. Sex is a tool of finding completeness, of finding oneness, satisfaction. It's not that final feeling when you sit in your sofa at home, when you're about 60, 70, or 120 years old, and you say, you know what I'm saying? Because you choose your partner. That's how you express yourself in terms of your physicality and in terms of your spirit. Now, if you want to be intellectual about it, those positions, you can just swing those legs and stuff. But then, essentially, that's my opinion. Sex. Thank you very much.